What's going on, guys? It's Adam P, and welcome back to more Newcastle United news. Match day tomorrow against Manchester City, and we'll talk a lot more about injuries, updates, and news regarding that game after the major announcement and after the important announcement we all want to know about. When will we find out about a brand new St James's Park? 52,000 seater stadium currently. When I first started going to games, it was once the third biggest stadium in the Premier League. Now, you're looking at around 12, 13, 14. I don't even know where we are on the list anymore. We've dropped a lot. A lot of teams are expanded. Newcastle hasn't. We can't expand our current stadium now because of the restrictions around the size of the stadium. But what we can do, and what was suggested by journalists that Newcastle would do, is to build a new stadium on Leazes Park, which would then have all the capabilities of being able to expand whenever we wanted to, and we wouldn't have the restrictions that our stadium currently has now. You guys all want to go to the games. You're talking well over 50,000 people in a season ticket waiting list. On top of that, in a financial point of view, Newcastle has all that money available there, and they can't get any of it because our stadium cannot fill all of those fans in. It's not possible. So the club now has to look in a revenue sense. They have to look to try and maximise profits, and we as fans want to go to the game. So it's the balance the club needs to work out. If you guys are new around here, make sure to get down there, hit that subscribe button. It is free to do so, and it helps out massively on the channel. So thank you so much for your support. 51% of you watching this video now are already subscribed, so make sure you don't miss out on any upcoming videos. Let's just get straight into it. Craig Hope has stated in an article that it has now been delayed, the official announcement, into early 2026, which means for a second time this year, the announcement and official confirmation from the club has been delayed. It was initially stated towards the end of our season, so around May time, June time. That was when fans would find out about St James's Park. It was delayed to late 2025. We are now looking almost going into December, and yet again the indication from journalists is that it is going to be delayed into early 2026 due to the Public Investment Fund not giving the green light on a brand new stadium. I also wanted to clarify as well that there is an official Newcastle United fan event at St James's Park start of December with CEO David Hodkinson, where fans can ask the club questions. You know straight away what question will be asked at that fan event, so make sure to stay updated for that. I will personally be at the event, so I'll be able to tell you and I'll be able to show you what was actually said in regards to St James's Park. But as I just mentioned there, second time this year it has been delayed, and I've seen fairly mixed responses on social media. I actually don't mind it, and the reason why I don't mind it is because when there was reports being published out by journalists regarding new St James's Park, it was claimed around 67,000 fans would be what the new stadium is. Now, you have to remember, that's a 15,000 fan increase in the stadium. That doesn't take into consideration how many of those 15,000 people will be hospitality boxes caught, but you're talking mega 4-digit, 5-digit sums of money to go and watch these Newcastle United games. So it doesn't take that into consideration. And for me to go from one stadium to a new stadium, is 15,000 fans worth it? I actually don't think it is. And I'll come back to this point before. When I went to games, I first started going to St James's Park in 2011 with my dad. And at the time, 52,000, it was the third biggest in our country. It was the Emirates and Old Trafford. They were the only two biggest stadiums. And now we're far down the pecking order. And for us to go to 67,000 fans, is it truly sure? I guess the full ambition and the full capabilities of the Public Investment Fund, I just don't think it does. And I'm not saying Newcastle should be 100,000 because I had to be realistic as well, but for me, I think Newcastle could be a lot bigger. At the time I was imagining going, well, I think it should be over 70,000, but maybe early 70s. But the more I think about it, it's going to take ages for this stadium to be built. By the time it's built, you're probably talking 5 years' time. On top of that, it will be a multi-sport stadium, which means like a sand fender. You've seen how much sand fender gets publicised at St James's Park. It's obviously going to be built for people like him to go and have concerts there, and for Newcastle to be able to encourage our sport and our uses to be used at St James's Park, which of course helps us more financially. The Public Investment Fund, the likes of Salah, Saudi, you're talking all our big Saudi Arabian sponsorships and corporate deals. all of these companies, have you seen the ambition on them? They are mental. They want the absolute best for Newcastle. I actually don't mind the fact that it was originally stated at 67,000 seater stadium. All over social media, Newcastle fans weren't happy. They were complaining about it. They were being quite vocal on how it should be a lot more. I don't mind the player, and I don't mind Newcastle United walking away on this and just reflecting and just go, well, actually, we got it wrong. We'll have a much bigger stadium. I don't mind that at all. Everyone makes mistakes. Everyone gets it wrong. If that's what's happening here, and Newcastle's actually looked at this and went, well, 67,000, it should be a lot more. We've got this completely wrong. We're going to go reflect on it and come back with a new idea. I'm actually all for it. The issue being is that when does it get announced? It's been delayed twice already. It's now early 2026. What is stopping Newcastle and what is stopping the PRA from just delaying it again? And then you delay it again, and all of a sudden, your 2030 average time of a stadium being built now becomes 2031 or 2032. And that's an extra couple of years when Newcastle financially would lose out on money because our stadium hasn't been built quick enough. There's a lot of questions, and the biggest thing for me is still transparency. Why is Newcastle United not just coming out and saying this? You know, if things have been delayed, if we aren't going to get a green light, if it's going to be pushed back to early 2026, why can't the club just give a brief statement saying that we're going to take time back and, you know, figure this out at St James's Park? It's going to be delayed, unfortunately. Like, GTA 6 is getting all these announcements going off topic. Even them, they're putting delayed statements out there. Why can't Newcastle United not put one out by St James's Park? Like, people are going to be upset, sure. People might be disappointed, sure. But just be honest with fans, because if you're not going to tell fans what's going on, you're always going to get questions and people asking, when is this going to be built? Because when is it going to be built? That's my question, because it's getting delayed twice. I don't know what's going on here. I can only kind of fill in the blanks and attempt to figure out what Newcastle's long-term plan with St James's Park could be. And my best way of looking at it is what I've said before, is Newcastle potentially just looking at and taking time back to actually just go, you know what, we're just going to make a massive stadium, 80,000 to 90,000. We are just going to throw everything at this stadium. We're going to get all these fans in and we're going to make a ton of money, which is going to benefit the team on the pitch. And that's the positive outlook on it. But until that's announced, until Newcastle sorts this out or at least speaks to fans about it, then fans are always going to have those doubts. And the fact it's been delayed again, considering the fact the club's not doing well on the pitch at the minute, considering the fact that we've had that summer, a lot of noise behind the scenes. Even now, you had staff members coming through the door, staff members going out the door. It still seems like a lot of question marks, and I feel like Newcastle has to be able to answer those questions to the fans. But that's my personal opinion. Hopefully, for those of you who are a bit disappointed to hear the delayed news, hopefully I'll give you a better outlook, and hopefully you can kind of walk away and go, well, yeah, you know what? Maybe I'm right. Maybe we are going to get a huge stadium now, but that's my personal opinion anyway. Going on topic to the Manchester City game tomorrow and looking at the injury side of things. Same update with Yoane Wissa. He won't be there for Manchester City. In fact, Eddie Howe has stated he hasn't even trained with the first team yet. He's having his own pre-season now. I didn't like those comments, to be honest, because even though, of course, he's trained to play for Newcastle, it's his pre-season or his time off to come and play for Newcastle, I still reckon it's a pre-season so he can go out to African Cup of Nations. He's 29, it's his last major tournament probably for AFCON. It's a chance for him to go out there. Hell, he's already went out to DR Congo after joining Newcastle, the biggest move of his professional career. He hasn't played at all. He went out to DR Congo, got injured. That's what he wanted to do at the time. It was his choice. And when he gets fit and when he's 100%, how is he not going to go out to DR Congo? He's just going to do it. You can just know he's so prideful of his country. He wants to represent his nation. And in our point of view, he spent £60 million and this guy's not even going to play for us. And knowing our luck, and let's be honest, it's probably likely DR Congo are a good side that will get far in the African Cup of Nations. What is stopping Wissa from getting injured again out in international duty? I think it's more likely than unlikely, to be honest, because, again, it's just our luck. And given the fact he probably won't have too many games in the bag at that point, I think it could happen again. And that's my concern. And I want this guy to play for us. You know, let's forget about DR Congo for a minute. You're only Newcastle United player. You haven't even played for us yet. We spent all this money on him. You're going into December now. He hasn't played for Newcastle. We're in desperate need for him to come and do something for us. And we're in desperate need of some support in our team. You know, our attack's not producing the numbers we would quite want from them. And I feel like it confirms all of our suspicions that he's not as close to coming back as the club suggests. Hopefully, this changes at some point. But the saga continues to drag on with Yoane Wissa. He will still not be back in the team. It sounds like anytime soon. Hopefully, that can change within the next couple of weeks. As for Manchester City tomorrow, hard game. Let's be honest with ourselves, it is a hard game. Haaland's in the form of his life, as he normally is. Manchester City are obviously trying to close down Arsenal. On the flip side, Arsenal just got a huge injury to Gabriel. In their point of view, they'll probably look like a team that could be knocked off their perch. So City's a team that's always going to want to push up there. Game at St James's Park. Newcastle, to be fair, at St James's Park against big teams, does for the most part tend to turn up. That being said, Liverpool this season lost, which was a bit harsh. Lost fairly against Arsenal. This time for me has to be a result. You can't lose to Liverpool, Arsenal and City at St James's Park and expect to qualify for the Champions League. It's never ever going to happen. You need to be able to get points against these sort of teams, especially at home. If you're just going to lose, that'll be one of these big teams. And Newcastle's not going to finish top 5 this season. It's never going to happen. And this is a team currently that's a couple of points outside the relegation zone for us. I feel like we need to get a result against City. If not, Everton, a game we never tend to win at, has to be a win. That's not even a question for me. Marseille, as much as I don't want to prioritise games, with all due respect, Newcastle realistically probably won't finish top 8 in the Champions League. And I personally don't mind Newcastle dropping into a playoff spot and then just playing the extra game in the Champions League. Of course, it could be a bit unlucky and get a horrific draw, but in my opinion, I don't mind the club prioritising the league. In fact, I would actually argue the club should be prioritising the league over the Marseille game. Leverkusen's a more winnable game. Leverkusen lost 7-2 against PSG at home. PSV should be winning at home. That win against PSV, that's getting you into the playoff spot. It's guaranteed. Like, that will get you a playoff spot. That's before you even consider Marseille, Leverkusen, PSG. So in my personal opinion, this particular week, not that I don't think the club should not try at Marseille, because of course you should, but I would be personally prioritising the league matches because our league performances and where we finish in the league table is far more important in the here and now. We have to sort that out and we have to make sure we can catch the likes of Sunderland down and get ourselves back into a European spot for next season. But that's my personal opinion. What would you do? Do you agree with my stance, or do you feel like Newcastle just go for it? All 3 matches, actually just go for it and try and win the lot. But deep down, let's be realistic. Marseille is hard and Manchester City is hard. Even Everton, the easiest game out of the 3, I would say is quite hard as well. So the club needs to do it and needs to do it quick because we've got massive games coming up. Appreciate you guys watching. Let me know your comments and opinions down below and just everything I've been talking about in this video. Do you agree with the St James's Park stuff? Do you agree with my comments about the likes of Wissa and Manchester City? Let me know your opinions. Appreciate you watching and I will see you all tomorrow for the match day vlog.